Well, hello again and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. I'm Tom. As always, I'm with my hardworking, gorgeous, intelligent, and just flat out wonderful wife and co-host, Michelle.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. Hi, everybody. You flatter me too much.
Not at all. You've been working very hard. You are. All those things are true about you. So I'm not like just embellishing just to brag about you. It is the facts, and I want everybody to make sure that they know that about you. So.
You make me blush. Thank you, sweetie. So, likewise.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Although it's not true about me,
no, it
is very true about you. We were recording this episode. Well, most of this episode we were recording on Sunday, April 5th, 2020. We did record a portion of this episode a little earlier in the week, as we recorded a few of the upcoming episodes a little earlier in the week. That's because, as I mentioned, Michelle is working very, very hard right now. If you listened to last week's episode, which many of you did, our Ask Us Anything episode, thank you for listening to that.
Yeah.
You know what the industry that Michelle is involved with. It is very busy for her right now. So that's kind of, we wanted to get ahead of the game a little bit. And that's why we recorded an interview earlier this week that we're going to get to in a moment. And some of the upcoming episodes, we also recorded some interviews to be ready to go for that, just in case Michelle is working so hard that she can't be here for all of our shows.
Right. And we appreciate everybody who's been some of our upcoming guests, which are really fun people. We're so excited that we had some great, wonderful people out there who are joining us, and thanks for everybody's flexibility in their schedules. And you're right, it's we tried to get ahead of the curve and getting some things handled, and now we're ready to roll these out, and it's awesome. Yeah,
today's interview you're really gonna enjoy. We've got some, like I said, some other ones coming up that we'll tease a little bit later, but this is going to be fun today. As a matter of fact, thank you for joining us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventurespodcast.com. And while you're there, let's just go ahead and sign up for the newsletter.
Is it a funky newsletter?
It is a funky newsletter. Thank you, Chris, for tabbing at that. It is still a very funky newsletter.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And yeah, you'll love it. Please sign up for it. We don't do anything with your email other than use it for our purposes of sending you the newsletter. And an apology on my part about an attachment that I didn't get to Tom in time for last week's about tips on cruising, and that will come out in the future.
You say you didn't get it to me in time. Actually, I just rushed. I'm like, I just wanted to get the newsletter out. You were working on it. I didn't know you were working on it at the time to get it to me. So I got the newsletter. I jumped the gun a little bit on the newsletter. More my fault than on her fault. We also love hearing from you on social media. We are very interactive on social media, and you can follow us on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. And you can always email us as well at HyperionAdventurespodcast@gmail.com. And as a matter of fact, we did receive over social media and email a few questions that we didn't quite get to from last week. Some people that listened to our last week's Ask Us Anything episode, they sent us a few more questions. We have one that I'm going to get to a little bit later in the show because I'm going to use it as part of my tip for this week. There are a couple others that came in. These were actually kind of sports related. When I mentioned in the last show that I worked for a sports talk radio station for many years. So a couple people hit us up to ask us some questions about sports in San Diego, for that matter. Tombstone Josh, who you can find on Twitter at Tombstone Josh.
Nicest guy.
Yeah, really great guy, and really a wonderful listener of the show and supporter of our show. And he has a great podcast well, the Disnoids podcast. I should give that a listen and check that out for sure. He wanted to know our thoughts and basically San Diego's, what the people in San Diego feel about the Chargers. Because if you don't know, if you're not a sports fan, if you're not an NFL fan, you may not know the Chargers have left the city of San Diego. Is it 3-4 years ago now? Moved up to Los Angeles. I know time flies by, right?
Too.
Yeah. Time flies by, right? And so he was just curious on what we felt about the Chargers and what the city of San Diego feels about the Chargers. And what I'll say for us is we've kind of distanced ourselves from that team. We still will watch them occasionally, but it just. And when they left, it really kind of ripped our hearts out.
Right.
I covered them for a long time working for the sports radio stations that I worked for. We also had season tickets for a long time. We were huge fans. Like, the Sundays would be all about going to Charger games or watching the Chargers or whatever. When they left, the way the owner handled it, it was really a weird situation, really kind of let San Diego down. And I think that, we still loved Phillip Rivers as a quarterback.
So it's such big fans of his.
So we kind of still somewhat pulled for them a little bit, but now that he has left, we really have no ties left to that organization.
Right.
And really we have been tainted by the NFL in general, and so much so that we're recording this episode on a Sunday. We record most of our episodes on Sundays, right in the middle of the day on Sunday, which means we're not watching a lot of the NFL coverage.
Right. I mean, some of the things that we do love the sport of football, the game of football, through family activities. We link a lot of our entertainment of football with college football. But you're right. It was, a period where it was very strange in how everything rolled out. And I think one of, like the silver lining of all of it was it didn't have the issue of, if they won or lost, it didn't impact our entire day or possibly even our entire week
or month, as a couple of losses did for us. Yeah.
Right. So it took that stress off of us. But you're right. It did rip our hearts out because we do love football. We both have had a past where we've had some involvement with football and love the sport. And so we've had to find our outlets otherwise.
Yes, and that's what we've done mostly with this podcast. Now, as far as the people here in San Diego themselves, they're really all over the map from what I can tell. There's some people that still love the Chargers, still are fans. There are still people now that just hate that team. They used to be huge fans. Now they just despise that team. They don't want any part of it. They root for any team that's going against them now. And then there's people in the middle. I think it's kind of almost where we fall, where they kind of like are indifferent. Sometimes they'll watch them and root for them. Sometimes they don't. It's just it's a really weird situation because the Chargers are in LA. It's still Southern California. It's really close. But the fact that the way the owner handled it when they left and kind of just decided to, we're just going to completely shut San Diego out and just focus on LA really hard. And it was really a weird transition and just really handled poorly on all aspects. So,
and I do think, it's one of those, and I'm going to get cliche again, time heals all wounds, right? So I do think there's also a group of people who initially were very upset to the point of anger and now have softened it and felt like, all right, I still want to watch and root for a team. And that's a team that, we can have easy access to. And so they might have now kind of gone back towards liking the Chargers.
Right. Yeah. So again, it's a weird situation here in San Diego right now involving the Chargers, and it's really all over the map as far as the emotions and on that. Finally, we have one other sports question, and this came from Doug, who has chimed in on the show very often, and he hit us up through email, and he just was curious to know if we were baseball fans. He says he's an Oakland A's fan. His wife Sarah, she roots for the San Francisco Giants. We are baseball fans. We are San Diego Padres fans. It's the only major league team that's still left here in San Diego. So we root for them very strongly. We have a great baseball park here, arguably the best baseball park in America with Petco Park. We enjoy going occasionally, watch the games on TV quite often, and hope for good things from the Padres here coming up in the future.
Right. And I think in terms of sports, our son Scott, Padres is his favorite team that he really enjoys watching. But we also like hockey.
Yeah, we do like hockey, but we have no hockey. We have a goal. Yes. We have a minor league hockey team here, which is the San Diego Gulls, who we enjoy very much. We enjoy the San Diego State Aztecs. Their basketball team was off to an amazing heck of a year this year, and then We know how that went. But we still enjoy them and the college football, San Diego State college football as well. So enough about the sports, though. Let's get to Disney talk again. Sorry to bore all those of you who tune in. Like, why are you talking sports? This is supposed to be a Disney podcast. So that's what we're going to focus on. And let's get right to our main topic of the week. And we couldn't be more excited to bring on our guest this week. We've been connecting with them for a while on social media. We had them on our show for a very short segment. I don't know, it was like 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. But we're so happy to finally bring them back on for an extended segment because these people are just fantastic. They've been great supporters for our show, and I know we are big fans of them.
Absolutely. And the more you get to know them, the more you just can't help but love them. They are such warm, wonderful people, and we are so thrilled you're taking time out of your day to join us. Thank you so very much.
Yeah, so let's get right to it. Jonathon and Camille Cotton, thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the Hyperion Adventures podcast.
Thank you so much. We're happy to be on.
Yes, thank you. We're so excited to be here.
It's so cute. And Lorelai is joining us as well. She's kind of blocking Camille in our camera right now, but she's so adorable. We're happy to have her on our screen. So
let's just watch Lorelai. We need to do the show. This is much more fun.
So let's talk a little bit about you two. We met you guys. Well, I think we actually met Camille through the Moms panel, our search to all be on the Disney Parks Moms panel a couple of years ago. I know Camille tried again last year, got to the second round, and unfortunately fell a little short, but we're convinced that you are bound to be there soon.
Yeah, they're lost.
Yeah, but mostly we know you from Instagram. Camille, you're at Disney Bound and Down, and you have another new handle at Castle Bound and Down, which we'll get into. Jonathon, you are at Vinyl and Disney. They both post these wonderful pictures of all things Disney, and we'll get more into that. But let's talk about first how you guys got involved in your love of Disney. Where did that evolve from?
Well, as a couple, it kind of evolved. We were driving down to the beach. We'd just gotten married, and I was reflecting on childhood memories of going to Disneyland, and I said, "Isn't Disneyland just the best?" And Camille said, "It's okay." Whoa, okay? What do we mean, okay? And thus ensued a multi-hour conversation on the way to the beach of me trying to convince her that maybe she just didn't have the right experience growing up. And from there, it kind of just transitioned into watching Disney movies together and doing Disney puzzles until we finally took our first trip together for Camille's, I think it was your 30th birthday.
Yeah, and a celebration of finishing my master's degree, too. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've only been to Disneyland once as a kid, and
Lorelai.
And going on that trip as an adult, I mean, I remember in the first few minutes of being there, being gobsmacked and thinking, "What is this? This is amazing!" and on I was hooked. So
all right,
that's awesome.
There you go.
And so now you go fairly frequently, as often as you can, to Disneyland. About how many times do you make it to Disneyland a year, would you say?
Yeah, it depends on the year. We kind of rotate years, but we'll do an annual pass for a full year and then take off a number of months where we normally wouldn't travel and then pick up another annual pass and go as many times as we can that year. So it averages, usually I'd say, probably about 3 times a year is what we've been doing lately. And oddly enough, I think probably 4 years ago, I said, man, one day when we're retired, we'll get annual passes and go down 3 or 4 times a year. And then we did it. And now we're kind of, we tasted that too early. Lifestyle.
Well, I mean, you don't live that far away. You live up in the Portland, Oregon area. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. It's not that long a flight to get there. A couple hours, you're down there, and you can have a nice and you've been down there for a good 4 or 5 days, up to a week sometimes, and you really get to experience it that way, and that's a lot of fun. So, what is your favorite attraction for each of you at Disneyland? What is that like? I know they're all not to miss, but what are your very favorite attractions?
If I had to absolutely pick a favorite, I'd probably say Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right.
Love it. Classic. Arr.
Me, I'd say probably the Guardians ride.
Mission Breakout. Michelle has not been on that yet. I don't know if I'll be able to convince her to get on that.
I did Tower of Terror several times. It's not my thing, but I've done it. I'm interested in the music of Guardians, and that might be what pushes me to get the courage to do it.
I think it's not the ride itself, it's the build up to it, where
Yes.
she's like the anticipation, the nerves that build up to it actually happens is what we will eventually get through with you.
Yes.
Great. So let's talk. I mean, obviously you're huge lovers of Disney, but you have some extreme other interests as well that are very important. And a lot of it has to deal with Lorelai there, who you've heard a little from in the background. You are both Down syndrome advocates. You work very hard within the Down syndrome community. Obviously, Lorelai was a big part of that, but can you just talk a little bit about your involvement within that community?
Sure. Well, obviously, it's all because of Lorelai. Lorelai is 3 years old. She has Down syndrome. And when we first found out about her diagnosis when I was pregnant, it was a big shock to us. And we hadn't had much involvement with that community or personally had any friends who had Down syndrome. So we got connected pretty quickly with our local Down syndrome association. And they've been so wonderfully supportive and really helped give us hope during a time where we were really uncertain and scared. And obviously, ever since having Lorelai, life has been wonderful. She has shown us that Down syndrome is nothing to be scared of. It's awesome. Is it awesome to have Down syndrome, kiddo? Yes. We just want to show the world how wonderful it is and kind of help dispel some of those old notions about what Down syndrome is.
Nice.
That's good.
We like to say that her extra chromosome is her Disney chromosome.
Aw.
All
I love that. That is so cute. I love that. That's perfect. And Jonathan, you recently, we retweeted it and sent it out on social media as well, wrote a blog that I think is really important to a lot of people that don't understand, as far as the mindset that you go through, the change in your, in how your thinking is once you find out that your child will be born with Down syndrome. But it was really enlightening and really wonderful at the same time. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got asked to write something for our local Down syndrome organization, and they didn't put a lot of parameters on it, so I kind of had an open-ended direction with it. And one thing that was so helpful for us when we first got the diagnosis was reading stories from other people about their diagnosis experience. So I started to go that direction and thought a lot of other people have written much better work than I have. I don't need to add to that because there's so much out there. So I tried to focus more on my own really kind of internal struggle with the things that I was afraid of and the things that I needed to give up control over, and how I realized that really there wasn't an issue with Down syndrome. It was more of an issue with my expectations, the way that I viewed individuals with disabilities, and kind of the learning process that I went through, not only about other people, but myself in that. So I kind of took it in a slightly different direction. But yeah, one thing I've noticed as well is a lot of times, I shouldn't say a lot of times, but there's a good number of examples of dads that have a hard time taking the diagnosis. Whereas I think moms might have a bit of shock or fear at first, but they get over it because they want to be there for their kids. And dads, for whatever reason, have had kind of an option of whether or not they engage. And that was another type of dynamic that I wanted to write about. And I've had the pleasure of being a part of a really great group of dads on Facebook, and it's all dads of kids who have Down syndrome. So I think I've been really blessed to be coming at it in a time when I can connect with so many other people digitally during a time that I might have otherwise felt isolated.
Yeah,
Sure, that makes sense.
It was really, really well written and a great telling of all the emotions and everything you went through when you found out the diagnosis. And we really highly recommend, if you haven't read it already, to go check it out. We're going to post a link to it in our show notes and on our website so everybody can get to experience it, because it was really well done, and we really appreciate it. Yeah, Michelle.
I mean, even as a mom of a child with Down syndrome, you think you kind of know it all. But after reading your blog post, I was like, so many perspectives there that you pointed out of either things that I did go through and maybe didn't resolve as well as you did and learn from it, or just some ideas to think of to make things even better. So I totally appreciated that blog, even from a perspective of being in that same position.
Thank you.
Sure.
So moving on to some other things that you are involved with. First, we'll talk again with Jonathon here. And you were at Vinyl and Disney, as we said, on Instagram. And we touched on this a little bit the first time we talked about you. You post pictures of all these albums all these vinyl records that you get.
We're not jealous.
And we're not jealous at all. You have so many. You have such a great, wonderful music collection. I know we touched on it before. Do you have another estimate on how many albums you actually have right now?
It's not too much higher than last fall. I'd say above 500 at this point, though.
Wow.
Nice.
That's so much. How do you listen to all that? That's so crazy. That is such a cool collection. I collected back when I was in my 20s, a lot of vinyl. It was back when vinyl first was kind of dying, and so you could get all these great I mean, I know you still can now, but there's been kind of a resurgence of it recently. But there was a time when no one wanted vinyl, so you could go to your record shops and get all these great. You walk down there with $20 and walk away with 10 albums of this amazing music. And unfortunately, due to circumstances, I've lost all those. So I'm really jealous every time I see your postings, Jonathon, of those. Camille, we already knew you for a long time at Disney Bound and Down on Instagram. You have recently started a new enterprise that we love to death. You can find this now at Castle Bound and Down on Instagram. Please, Camille, tell our listeners a little bit about what you're involved with now.
Sure. So about a month ago here, just slightly over a month ago now, I launched a children's clothing shop on Etsy that makes Disney Bound style dresses for kids. So I've been sewing my whole life. I love to sew. It's a fun meditation for me, a way to be creative, use my hands and keep busy. It's also been really great during this time that we're stuck at home, actually. But I made a Disney Bound dress for Lorelai for our last trip, and inspired by the Frozen 2 Anna dress that she wears when they're traveling. Mm-hmm. And I had so much fun coming up with it and making it that I thought, well, maybe I'll just do this for other people, right. Like you do. I'll just start a small business. Sure, that's fun. So I did. And I've been making fun dresses for, up to this point, just little girls. But I love to branch out in the future and make some fun costumes for little boys too. Or, I have little boys in my life who love to wear dresses. So whatever kids want to wear, I'm happy to make for them. But I've been having a lot of fun doing that. And especially, like I said, during these last couple of weeks, being stuck at home, being able to create and send out some magical mail to people who, especially little kids who are having birthdays right now and they can't have their birthday. It's been fun to send a little message away.
Oh,
nice.
That's awesome. And they are beautiful. Really, you should go check out the pictures on Instagram. Go check out her Etsy because they are beautiful, gorgeous dresses. And
they're creative. It's not just like a replication of a costume. It is so inventive. It's a wow factor for sure.
For sure. And, Michelle's little. Maybe we can have you come up with one for her. No, they're adorable. And we talked, even when we talked with you last time, all the different dresses and everything that Lorelai gets in and how adorable she looks. And now that you have these even more creative designs that you're coming up with, it just takes it to another level. So we can't recommend enough for our listeners to go look at these, especially if you have a young girl or a young boy who might be interested in some of this stuff, because they're really wonderful stuff, Camille. Good, great.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Sure.
So, all right. So let's get into it. It's Michelle's game show time. She's going to take over as game show host here. So let's get right into our game.
Never been a wild one. Usually I'm home, stuck on reruns, Chinese for one, checking on my phone. Never have I ever stayed out, singing Purple Rain, dancing under the tables, boy, you bring it out of me. But it feels right for the first time. Never have I ever fallen.
All right. So, yep, that's right. It's a little game of Never Would I Ever, or Never Have I Ever, excuse me. Yes, Michelle, our game show host extraordinaire, is going to take over for us. So, Michelle, please take it away.
All right. So, everybody who's listening can also play along with us. Unfortunately, I guess it's not going to be the drinking version. We have invited our guests, though, to meet us sometime, and we will do a version that involves alcohol in the future. But for right now, we're going to go on a point system. And the way the pointing system works is you actually going to score if you haven't done one of these things. And now it's all related to Disneyland.
Do I need to keep score here? Is that what I need to do?
That might be nice, yeah. I mean, I have a little score sheet here, but I got to also read questions. So,
oh, multitasking.
Right.
It's never easy for us.
Right. So again, you're getting a score if you did not do it. So you just have to tell us yes or no. Now, the other thing about some of these questions, I've highlighted in yellow, and that means a story needs to go along with it. So if you have done it, you can tell us your story about it, okay? It may sound complicated, but as we're going, don't worry. It's simple. All right?
So again, a point for if I've never done it, right?
Correct. A point if you've never done it. So the target here is to have a low.
Right.
Because you want to have done all these things to show that you are the Disneyland super fans that we know you all are. And us too.
Yes. All right. Let's get to it.
All right. Ready? So we'll start easy. Never have I ever stayed in a Disneyland resort.
I have not ever.
I have.
Oh,
okay.
So one for Camille.
Right. All right.
All of us, we have.
Yes,
so
we
we're
have.
good.
Never have I ever rode 3 Disneyland mountain attractions in the same day.
You definitely.
Yeah,
have.
definitely. I think we've ridden every attraction every day.
So I have to say a no.
You've
to
never done that?
I've
done
never
that.
done it in the same
Obviously, it was
day.
before we got together.
Right. All right. This is a highlighted one. So if you've done this one, if you have a yes, we need to know the story. Never have I ever dined with the Disney characters.
Oh, we definitely have. We scheduled a breakfast at the Plaza Inn for Lorelai's first birthday.
Ooh.
It was so fun.
And we did Ariel's.
And we did Ariel's Grotto too before it got turned into
Oh,
Lamplight Lounge.
wow. Awesome. So you're real pros.
So we did the just recently for my birthday actually. So I was celebrating like Lorelai, which we all should. It was the first time that I actually did a character meal within Disneyland. So and that was a lot of fun. But I know Ariel's Grotto has gone by the wayside, and we love the Lamplight Lounge. But maybe you could share what the experience was like at Ariel's Grotto because we never got to check that out.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Actually, our friends surprised us. We did a joint trip, and they booked that meal for us, and it was really nice. We went down, they came and took our orders, and then throughout the course of the meal, they would announce a new princess, everyone would cheer, and they would basically make their way through the restaurant and come to each table and have some one-on-one time. You could take pictures, ask questions. And our friends definitely appreciated it because they don't have any kids, so Lorelai gave them some credibility. Here because obviously the child.
Right? No, we don't. We have this picture with Cinderella. No, it's about Lorelai.
Exactly. So I think we were all more excited than Lorelai was because she was still about.
She was her birthday trip still.
Yeah. But we loved it probably more than she did at that point.
Cool.
So that was a princess-focused character meal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Rapunzel came through, and she was probably our 2 favorite.
Yeah.
We're big Rapunzel.
I know you guys like Tangled a lot, just like we do. So, and I also know that #RealMenLoveFrozen, Jonathan. I know you own one of our T-shirts, and you look great in it. So, and Camille won our Frozen 2 poster that we were giving away months ago. So I saw a great how it was framed, and it looked lovely.
Wonderful.
So, yeah. So
Awesome.
anyway, back to the game.
All right. Here's the 4th one. Never have I ever teared up just by watching the Disneyland band play or the barbershop quartet perform.
I've never teared up just from the band or the quartet, but I've definitely teared up at shows. So I'll take a point for that because following the rules, I have not just from those 2.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I've teared up at the band.
Trying to remember. I must. Well,
You've done the
flag retreat. That's where I've teared up with the band. I was thinking. I know the Dapper Dans I have, but the flag retreat is where I've teared up with the band. Yeah.
All right. I think this is an easy one for all of us, but we'll see. Never have I ever watched a documentary about Disneyland and then pointed out items to family or friends while visiting the parks.
Come on, we're all guilty of that, aren't we?
At least once.
Even when we're not at the parks, we're like, yep. Did you know?
All right, so here is another highlighted one. Never have I ever played a Disney video game.
Yeah, I play Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Right. I was just playing this morning. I'm killing a lot of stay-at-home time with a little reliving Kingdom Hearts. So.
Right.
And I still have Aladdin and Lion King on SNES. So.
Wow, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Classic.
And we've actually played on Xbox. Xbox 360, they have a Disneyland game that you actually go through the park. So we've done that as well. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Lots of Legos. We've done all sorts of Disney Lego games and all sorts of Disney stuff. And it's just so much fun.
Yeah, and I have my Disney app games.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right. Next one. Never have I ever ridden at least 3 different Main Street modes of transportation.
In the same day,
It doesn't
or
have
just
to be
ever?
the same day. It just has to be ever.
No, I have never.
Oh.
Whoa.
That is something you have to put on your bucket list for the next trip, for sure.
If nothing else, the double-decker bus on the top. In fact, do it both directions because it's a different experience each time. So.
But also, like the horse-drawn carriage is great.
Yeah.
There's the little taxi car.
Right.
A lot of times you're in that alone with just the driver, and he or she will tell you great stories as you're just kind of motoring down Main Street, USA, and it just kind of feels like you're being chauffeured almost.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
highly recommend for you guys, but for anybody out there who's never experienced it before.
Okay. Never have I ever ate a Dole Whip while inside Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room.
We've done that.
You got to do that.
I know.
It's a must.
Yeah, that's
Definitely
definitely a thing at Disneyland, probably even more so than at Walt Disney World, mainly because of the proximity of the stand to it. But
But now that there's some things that have changed about the stand, especially now that, the mobile order is still in that area, but there's a few things that have changed about it. But it almost was like, that used to be the secret. It's like you'd go in there, whether you were going to go in the tiki room or not, is you would go into the queue area because that was the shorter line. The other line would wind around all the way into Adventureland. You'd go in there and just, there'd be the short line. And well, you're there anyway. Why not go check out the tiki room? It's a classic. Yeah.
Exactly. Never have I ever scored 10 out of 10 on a Play Disney Parks app trivia game.
I've never played it.
Yeah, that's one I've not done.
All right. So it's a fun way to pass the time, whether you're in the queue or just, waiting for something or, sometimes even if you're in the proximity of the parks, but not in the parks, you can still play.
You can do it at home.
I know.
It's just a way to get Disney back in your life at home is to just get on the apps and you can play the trivia games when you're at home. And it's just kind of another fun thing. So yeah, definitely check it out.
And then you get medals.
Yeah.
There's prizes involved there.
It's all about the prizes.
That's right. Another highlighted one, and this one, I don't know, this one might be a trickier one for any of us to have done it, but never have I ever rode in the Lily Bell car of the railroad.
Well, I've never done that.
Yeah, we've never done that.
Never.
All of us.
I don't know what it is, so no.
Yeah, it's the caboose of one of the Walt Disney Railroad train cars.
It's not like the other ones that face to the side where you can view as you're going along. It's a car, more enclosed car, but it's one that's, just very ornately decorated. And really, other than taking the train tour, you have to have a very special magic or pixie dust happen that you can actually get into it. So,
but without that, you can purchase and go on the train tour that's there at Disneyland. And part of that tour is always a ride in the Lily Bell caboose car, and we are still looking to do that sometime soon. And we keep putting on our list of one of the next things we want to do there is take that tour. So hopefully soon we can rectify that.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Never have I ever owned at least 2 pairs of Disney ears.
I have never owned 2 pairs at the same time. I've had a pair at a time, but I've never owned 2 pairs at the same time.
I have had 2 pairs at the same time. It was when I was a kid, but I'm still counting it.
Yeah, definitely.
Many years.
That's right. Counts.
I think when we went on our last trip, I think we had like a carry-on bag just for Michelle's ears.
I know. Okay, moving along. Never have I ever watched an entire episode of the original Walt Disney Disneyland TV show.
We watched that.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. We have too.
Yeah.
I actually, for her, for Michelle's, was it Christmas or your birthday? Well, sometime recently, got the tinned set of all the episodes, or some of the, I don't know if it's all the episodes,
some of them,
many of the
highlights,
episodes of Disneyland. And that was, I think
the,
that was
like the Walt Disney Treasures.
right. That's exactly right.
Exactly. All right.
And I think that was the I'm trying to remember. I mean, I think I've seen excerpts before that, but that was the first time I think I had watched it all the way through.
Right,
And
right.
now I wish they were all on Disney Plus.
I
very much,
know.
Right?
Right.
Exactly.
We have a rare movie store in our city, and it's all for like hard to find movies, and they have like old memorabilia. But one of the things they have there is the whole collection of those
Wow.
treasures, and you have to put down like $150 deposit in order to check it out, or have rented more than I think 10 or 15 movies there.
Wow.
Just because they know that it's so hard to replace it. If you
Sure.
here.
Makes sense.
Wow. Very
That's cool. Wow. That's awesome.
All right. Never have I ever attended a Disneyland special event. So like a special ticketed affair.
Yes,
We have.
the Halloween
right.
party.
Yeah.
So you guys went to the Oogie Boogie Bash this last year, correct? Yeah. Did you enjoy that? We went to it for like one of I think it was the first one that
day.
we went to. Yeah. How did you guys like it?
It was so fun.
Right?
Very worth it.
You do it again, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, it was a blast. We had a great time.
All right. Never have I ever stood in line to buy a popcorn bucket without a care in the world about the popcorn.
Well, popcorn's one of my favorite foods, so I always care about popcorn.
Okay, well, that's
I stood in line to buy a popcorn bucket and had it be sold out.
Oh,
no.
no.
Oh,
That's painful.
that is.
No. Which one were you trying to get?
I was trying to get the cauldron one last Halloween.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
One of our favorites is we have our Christmas Pluto.
Right.
In a little Christmas sweater and everything. It's adorable. It's actually become basically one of our Christmas decorations.
Yes.
No, I don't think it's ever had popcorn in it.
I didn't wait for a popcorn bucket for me, so I'll take that.
All right, you get a point on that one. All right. Never have I ever rode in the front car of the monorail alongside with the pilot.
Ooh, I've never done that.
No, I've never done that.
That's fun.
Definitely.
For those of you who mostly visit Walt Disney World, you can't do that at the monorail there anymore, but you can still do it at Disneyland. You just have to ask, and you may have to wait a time or two around for it to open up. But it is a really, really wonderful journey to check out everything. You get some really amazing views, and usually the pilots are a lot of fun while you're in there. Yeah.
Right. And our son Scott now, that's about the only way he wants to take the monorail now. It's really difficult. That was like, oh, what did we do? All right. Never have I ever arrived to the gates before the park opened to get inside to wait for rope drop.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Now, you guys, we haven't done Rise of the Resistance yet at Disneyland.
Right.
We did it in Walt Disney World, but you got in at Disneyland. I think you got didn't you get number 3 or something like that, the third boarding group?
Wow.
That's insane. That's so good.
That's impressive.
So,
We're not worthy.
yeah, I think we actually shared some of your tips how you received that in such a low number because that was such a great job.
Yeah.
So Rise of the Resistance, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Would do it again 100 times.
Right?
So
yeah.
good.
Yeah, we can't wait to get back and get to experience it again because it's so amazing.
Exactly.
Amazing.
All right. This is a highlighted one. Story time. Never have I ever owned a Disney board game.
Yes. We have several Disney games.
So do we.
What's your favorite?
One of my favorites, it's an old trivia one. I think we found at Goodwill from maybe the 80s.
Nice.
And we like to get camping, but we also go to Portland Timbers matches.
Oh, yeah.
And our friends all meet up at the pub ahead of time. We shoot pool, but I always bring stacks of Disney trivia. So it's people all getting ready to go to soccer games and drinking beers, and we're over in the corner. We've got our Disney trivia.
Nice.
Awesome.
The waitresses always flock to our corner, and they just get the biggest kick out of it, and they kind of hang around our table. And
That's cool.
Oh, how funny.
All the better to get that much better service while you're there.
You just reminded me because I had made my list and I forgot we do have the Disney Trivia Pursuit game.
Yeah.
That wasn't even on my list. Wow. All right.
I think my favorite is was it our Tower of Terror Clue?
Right,
Disney
yes.
Clue. That's a really fun one.
Yeah. Never have I ever ridden the Autopia attraction while the monorail was passing overhead.
I'm not sure. I know I've been on Autopia plenty of times.
They usually they beep the horn when they go overhead.
I can't say for sure that's happened to me, but I've been on the Autopia so many times and seen the Matterhorn so many times that I imagine it must have been at some point, right? So I'm just going to say we all have at some point, whether we remember it or not.
All right. Sounds good. And this is also highlighted again. Never have I ever rode an attraction that is no longer at Disneyland.
Oh,
the Skyliner. What was it called? The Skyliner, the gondolas.
Yeah, I think it was the Skyway. I think it was the Skyway.
Yeah, that's one of the very few things I remember from my trip as a kid, and I thought it was so fun. I was excited to ride it again as an adult, and it wasn't there.
Yeah,
I know.
You used to go right through the Matterhorn and everything, and you could see the Abominable Snowman when you went through. Yeah, I kind of miss it.
Yeah.
But I really miss the People Mover more than anything else. I really miss the People Mover at Disneyland. I wish that was still around. I still see the tracks there, and I'm like, oh.
Right. I was going to say Tower of Twilight.
Yeah.
Guardian.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
And then there also was the Luigi's Flying Tires.
Oh, yeah. Before that changed over to the Rollicking Roadsters. Yes.
Right. All right. So I guess
because everybody kept stepping on the tires and either getting hurt or breaking the...
All right. Never have I ever built a lightsaber at Disneyland.
No.
I have not. Our next trip, I'm going to do one in Galaxy's Edge.
Ooh.
I so want to do that so badly.
Yeah. I guess we all get a point for that. Yeah. Although they do have it also at Star Tours. So
yeah, that's a little different, but yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah. It costs a lot less than the one in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, that's for sure. But yeah.
Never have I ever gone to Disneyland all by myself.
I have.
I have not been to Disneyland by myself. I went to Shanghai Disney by myself, but not Disneyland.
Wait. Okay, you've been to Shanghai Disney?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice. All right, we have a topic for another episode.
Yeah, we got to talk to you about on the air and off the air about Shanghai Disney because that's on our bucket list of places we want to go to for sure.
Yeah, I tacked it onto a work trip. And anytime I talk to someone, they're like, "Oh, what are your plans?" I'm like, "Oh, heading to Disneyland," and they look at me like, "You're in Shanghai, you're going to Disneyland." But people who knew me knew, like, of course you're doing that.
Yeah.
So.
That's okay. I mean, we've been to Paris and they're like, "You're in Paris. Why are you going to Disneyland?" I'm like, do you know us?
All right. Let's see. Never have I ever ate a specialty churro.
Yes,
definitely.
Lots of them.
I've never done that.
I haven't either.
I've never eaten a special. I've eaten the regular churro, but never a specialty churro.
I don't think I've even ate a regular one. But I definitely appreciate all the creativity that they have there.
I just love looking at the list of what do they come up with this year, especially for some of these special events like the Oogie Boogie Bash or, when we were at Marvel Night, and then they had all the, they had churros that were based on the Infinity Stones, and yeah.
But they were in different places, so you had to go to
you had to collect your Infinity Stone churros, yeah.
Did they have a gauntlet you could wear and stick them in?
That would have been something. They had the gauntlet sipper. I know that, but I don't think that would have been cool if you had something that you could have just put the churros in.
All right. Never have I ever rode a Disneyland attraction with a seasonal overlay.
Oh, we know.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion holiday all day, all night. Yeah.
It's small world. All right. Never have I ever pin traded at Disneyland.
We're big pin traders.
Love it.
Yeah, right.
So fun. You know what? I don't think I have with you, but I don't think I've personally ever traded a pin.
Yeah, I don't think you have
I'm more like I go in. I'm her eyes. I'm her scout as she goes to look to trade pins, but she does all the pin trading. I just like nice pins. I like to have nice pins.
Right. All right. Never have I ever purchased a toy at Disneyland as an adult just for myself.
Oh, I'm sure I have. I'm trying to think of what.
I don't think I have.
I don't think I have either. I don't buy a lot of things that when we're at the parks, except for the like the big tapestry behind us and the other stuff. But that's not a toy. I've wanted to get the little mobile DJ Rex to have rolling around the house and play music for us, with a mobile speaker on it. But we've never pulled the trigger on that. So I don't think I don't know if I ever have bought a toy.
Yeah, I've bought things related to Small World. Like dolls, magnets.
Mm-hmm. I've bought a lot of puzzles, but not necessarily toys.
Right.
Lots of puzzles.
Right.
I'm sorry, Camille, did you say you did or you haven't?
No, I haven't.
Okay. All right. Never have I ever stood in line to get a picture with an Avenger.
Ooh,
oh, yeah.
I have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did.
I know.
Sure.
Isn't it great just that while you're in line to watch how they interact with everybody? And it's amazing, right?
So fun.
Yeah. Okay. This one might be easy for somebody in our group. Never have I owned a vinyl record or cassette tape specifically about a Disneyland attraction, park soundtrack, etc.
Yeah, I definitely
Many, multiple. I don't think I have. I've had music at some point, but I can't say that they've been vinyl or cassette.
Yeah.
You know, they've been CDs.
I feel like my oldest sister did have something, but I can't. I have to take a point because I can't verify that. I've had definitely CDs of soundtracks and stuff. But all right, never have I ever took a picture with a Wookiee at Disneyland.
No, not with a Wookiee.
Nope, not with a Wookiee.
Ooh.
We've taken pictures of Wookiees, but not with Wookiees.
We have.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't think we've ever waited in line
No,
to
that's
do
the
one.
one
But,
wasn't
you know,
a
I mean, it's what's nice about being there on Batuu is a lot of times, you know, Chewbacca's just roaming around looking for
Right.
something to work on out there, and you can run into him. So,
Exactly. All right, here's for a real true Disney fan. Never have I ever paddled on Davy Crockett Explorer canoe.
Every time I say, "Oh, I really want to do that next time,"
Right?
Never.
Yep.
we have that's the exact
I have
same
not.
our exact same conversation. But I have done it, but way long
Well, you don't
time
have to take
ago.
a point, though,
That's
if you've
true.
done it. Yeah.
Long time ago. But we have the exact same conversation you have. Is every time we see them out there, we're like, oh, we need to do that, but we have to go right now. But next time we're going to do that, and we just have not done it since we. So
All right, another highlighted one. Never have I ever ordered a secret menu item.
Oh, we've
Yes,
done that.
yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly drinks.
Yeah.
Ooh.
now we need to know the secret
Yeah,
drink
that's why
menu.
it's highlighted.
I don't think I have. I don't think I remember ever
I
doing a
haven't
secret menu
either.
item. I've seen them. I've never actually ordered one.
So you got drinks at which location?
Well, when Ariel's Grotto,
It was the Cove
the
Bar.
Cove Bar, they
Mhm.
had a whole secret.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. And now here's the puzzle one. Never have I ever put together a Disneyland themed puzzle of 700 pieces or more.
Very specific.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've both done that many times.
Right?
I probably got 20, 25 Disneyland signature puzzles
Nice.
that are shelved downstairs. And Camille has helped.
Awesome.
Does me putting in like 2 or 3 pieces on your puzzle count? No.
No.
All right.
to be-
I'll take the check. I've probably done it at some time in my life, but I can't nail it down.
Right.
So no, I'll
Yeah.
take it.
All right. Never have I ever had my fortune given to me by Esmeralda on Main Street, USA.
Oh no, I've never done that.
I did that as a kid.
All right.
I haven't done it. I've been there when you've done it.
Yes. And you can do it for free with the Disney app.
Ooh.
You can do it once a visit for free with the Disney app. You get the app going, and when you get close, it'll tell you, and it signals her to give you your fortune there. So
By the way, judging by the results so far, I can tell that Michelle's kind of rigged this thing. So
I didn't.
Maybe someone might win.
actually, I took some of this from other things that were out there or whatever, but yeah. I tried to make it fair. I put in things that I know I didn't do either. Okay. Here's a highlighted one for a story if you've done it. Never have I ever danced in public at Disneyland.
Oh, please.
Yeah, we're not above that. I would say the Descendants dance party was the most
yeah.
memorable.
Oh,
Wasn't that fun?
nice.
Wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
I mean, we know the Lorelai is a huge Descendants fan. We had never really experienced it that much. We'd seen a little bit, heard a couple of the songs, but we didn't really know a lot about it. But we had kind of just stopped over there at the Oogie Boogie Bash and
Right.
checked it out. We were like, wow, that is so good and so fun. So I totally get it for sure.
And the other one that's fun there is the date night
Oh, the swing dance.
swing dancing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we love that one.
Yeah. Never have I ever seen the reimagined Fantasmic.
Yes, we've seen it.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
yes, have we?
Never have I ever rode the red car trolley at Disney California Adventure Park.
I have
No.
not done that,
I've
no.
done that.
Ooh.
It hasn't been open for a while either.
Yeah.
So we've done it, but
We've
it's
done
been
it,
a
yeah.
long time ago. But yeah.
Highlighted one if you have a yes to this one. Never have I ever been a part of a Disneyland parade.
I don't think so, no.
No,
No.
never.
It's something I think you can do more at Disney World, where you can be brought into the parade by some of the cast members, but just put it out there. Never have I ever performed a scavenger hunt at the park.
Not at the park, at the Disney store.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they always have an Easter one. We've done that,
Yeah.
but
Right.
we've done park.
No, we haven't.
No,
we haven't either.
We haven't either.
Nope.
And it's funny because I have some and I've given them to other people to do, but we've never done it. So how funny. Never have I ever ate a Disneyland corn dog.
Well, we're vegetarians, so no.
Oh.
I would love a vegetarian corn dog, though. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, as many as they're adding so many vegan and vegetarian options. It surprises me that they haven't come up with something at this point.
Right. I thought I read that they did, but maybe that.
But there's plenty of other great items.
That is true. That is true. All right. And here's a highlighted one. Never have I ever owned a book about Disneyland.
Yeah, we have several books.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right?
Do you have a favorite?
Oh, there's probably my favorite book that only covers part of Disneyland. It's a book on Walt Disney, and I'm spacing on the author's name, but it's one of the more definitive ones. But it does cover kind of that period in Walt's life and what he had to go through to be able to get the park built.
Nice. Excellent.
But yeah.
All
I
right.
loaned it to my dad. Grab it off the shelf.
All right. Never have I ever hosted a Disney-themed party.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Not huge parties, but we like to do Disney theme nights.
Nice.
So we might do like a Ratatouille night where I'll put on the Ratatouille soundtrack and we'll go to the
Awesome.
store and find stuff like, French cheeses or French wine, maybe make Ratatouille, and then we watch. Done the same thing for Princess and the Frog, try to find some like New Orleans drinks.
Nice.
Gumbo, and then cap the evening off with watching the movie. So we like to do that with some of our Disney friends to keep the magic alive when we're not at the parks.
Right.
That's so fun. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect way to keep the magic alive. We've done a few parties ourselves.
Right. Well, like when I lived in Florida, my dad had passed away, and it was really a rough time for my mom and my siblings. So I used to host a Disney weekend. And we would actually have like the rooms be named as guest rooms and things like that. And each of us took like a meal to prepare and make it themed. We've done dress, Disney bounding, dress up and things like that. So it was a way we did that for like once a month for probably about almost close to 3/4 of a year, maybe to a year.
Wow.
And not everybody lived in the same city, so it did require some travel, a couple hours at least for people. But it's amazing how Disney can help you through some real tragedies as well. So.
Yeah. Very good. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. So now is where the tallies really come into play. So if your score is 0 to 3 points, anybody here have
No.
that? All right, that would be a Walt level. 4 to 9 points would be a Disneyland superfan level.
None of us
None
are
of us
that.
that. Okay. 10 to 16 points, you'd be a Disney hero level.
That's what we all are.
All right.
That's where we all are, right on that level. Here's the final.
Well done.
The final tally. Michelle, you led us amazingly by who was the game show host here with 10. I had 12. And both Camille and Jonathon had 14 each. So.
Wow, very good.
Yeah.
For everybody else playing, I'll give the rest of the scores. 17 to 22 points, your princess level. 23 to 28 points, your Disneyland fan in training. And over 29 points, you are definitely in need of a Disneyland vacation.
I think we're all in need of a Disneyland vacation, aren't we really right now?
Yes, yes. Well, thank you again so much for playing. This was a blast. We really enjoyed that you were able to be a part of our show. It really makes our show even better and more special, and you all are wonderful.
Well, thank you. It's our pleasure to be here, and we are super fans of Tom and Michelle. So
Well, we're so happy we got to spend some more time with you, and we're looking forward to doing it much more in the future, both having you again on the show at some point, but also we are going to connect, whether it be at the parks or we're actually going to be up in the Pacific Northwest possibly next year. Maybe we can work something out when we're kind of in your vicinity.
Yeah,
so.
We were also talking about it last night.
Yep. So we'll figure it all out. But thanks so much for taking the time. John and Camille, we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
know. So that was a ton of fun. Boy, what a great game. And could Jonathon and Camille and Lorelai, for that matter, who chimed in as well, be a better family and just more fun?
Right. No, they're amazing. And like I said a million times, we're such big fans of them. They're wonderful people. If you're not following them socially on social media, you really are missing out on a great family. And as I said at the beginning, I can't wait till we're doing this game in person and having it as a drinking game, and hope all of you had fun with it and had an opportunity to participate and score.
Yeah, please let us know what your scores were. By the way, we recorded that episode a while back, or that interview a couple days ago. I was able to go back and retabulate and realize that I messed up the tabulation for Michelle. She did. It's funny, amazingly, she did even better than we thought. She only had 8 of those questions that she had never done. So she was in the next level up. So she was more of a super fan than any of the rest of us. I don't know how that worked out, but
I wasn't trying to win. And in fact, some of the things that I did add, I added, in all fairness, I added things that I knew I hadn't done. So, those things that I haven't done, I added knowing that I hadn't done them, but it was all just for fun. I guess I would have been the designated driver.
Well, I mean, when you cheat on a test, you don't go for the perfect score. You miss a couple intentionally. I think we know what we're getting at here. No, seriously, it was really a lot of fun. Great game, and really enjoyed it. And if anybody's trying to cheat, it was apparently me, because I had the one who tabbed on a couple extra we never have to use. So anyway, by the way, as far as their Instagram addresses and the link to the blog and a link to Camille's new business and everything, those are all going to be on the show notes, so you can look them up really quickly if you want to check out some of the amazing dresses that she's making. Jonathan's amazing vinyl collection, or just all the stuff they're posting day in and day out. They are great follows, and you should check them out for sure.
Definitely.
So let's get to our Disney stories of the week. We only have a couple quick stories that I want to get to this week, and we'll start with Disney has shifted a lot of their movie releases that are coming up over the next couple years. Mm-hmm. And so let's quickly run down what those shifts are. And this starts with, essentially they're doing a little bit of a musical chairs, especially with the Marvel franchise. They're kind of moving things around, like Black Widow, which was scheduled to come out here in May, is now going to take over the slot that was determined for the Eternals in November. So now Black Widow is going to be coming out on November 6th of this year. Mm-hmm. They're pushing back the Eternals to February 12th of 2021. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, a new character, a new Marvel character that we're going to be introduced to if you haven't read the comics anyway. That movie will be coming out on May 7th of 2021. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness will be coming out on November 5th of 2021. Thor, Love and Thunder is scheduled for February 18th of 2022 now. Black Panther 2 is May 6th of 2022, and Captain Marvel 2 is July 8th of 2022. So that's a pretty good slate of movies coming out, at least from Marvel here. Disney also shuffled some of their other movies, their regular Disney movies coming out as well. Mulan, which was supposed to come out like last week, is now being pushed to July 24th of this year. Mm-hmm. Jungle Cruise, which was supposed to come out, was it this summer, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
Or maybe it was the fall. Anyway, it's being pushed to July 30th of 2021 now. So it's getting shoved back by quite a bit. And Artemis Fowl, that was supposed to come out, I think it's in June. I don't remember exactly what it was. Is now going to be released on Disney Plus rather than in the theaters. So they don't have an actual release date, or at least the story I looked at on today's date didn't have a release date yet, but you can look forward to watching that on Disney Plus soon.
Right. So it makes sense. And, as we're seeing with a lot of things in life, things change, and, we're an adaptable society.
Yep. And that's what you got to do. You got to adapt. And it's going to work the best for Disney's release in the theaters and the box office and everything else. You got to take advantage of that when you can. Just disappointing because some of these movies I know we were looking forward to seeing.
Right. And this is like totally in another realm, but we did realize on Disney Plus, somebody on our Ask Us Anything asked if there was something we wanted to see on Disney Plus, and I don't know if it had recently got added. I doubt it. I tend to think I just made a mistake, but Pollyanna.
I think they heard the podcast. They're like, we're going to show her.
Yeah.
We're going to add Pollyanna. It's been there all along.
So anyways, that was added, and oops.
It is there, so Michelle can watch that at her convenience now, as can you. One more story here. Coming up this week is the 25th anniversary of a Goofy movie.
Right.
And we were supposed to be going up to go see, as a matter of fact, it was today.
Right.
We were supposed to be going up to see a screening of the Goofy movie on the lot. Well, obviously, that got canceled. However, D23 is still planning to run some events based on the anniversary, the 25th anniversary of a Goofy movie all this week. So remember, we're recording this on April 5th. So, depending on when you're listening to this, you may be able to take part in a lot of the Goofy movie fun. It's such a great movie.
Oh,
Great. So here's what's the lineup for events that are going to be happening all this week. On Monday, April 6th, they're going to have a sing and dance to Eye with D23. Mm-hmm. I would imagine you go to the D23.com website or follow their social media and you can check out and find out what that's all about. On Tuesday, April 7th, a Goofy movie's 25th anniversary date. That's exactly the anniversary date. You'll be able to celebrate with a new 5 facts video. So 5 interesting facts about a Goofy movie.
Nice.
On Wednesday, April 8th, you can watch a Goofy movie panel from the D23 Expo of 2015. So they're going to rebroadcast that, which might be kind of cool.
Yeah. So that would have been the 20th anniversary, right?
Yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, so that's cool. On Thursday, April 9th, you'll be able to learn to draw Max with a Disney animator. You've been seeing a lot of those on social media recently, so you'll get to learn how to draw Max, which will be a lot of fun. And finally, on Friday, April 10th, you'll be able to tune, TOON, into their exclusive cast reunion and virtual watch party, which will be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, so 4:30 p.m. Pacific time on Friday. So that'll be a lot of fun. I would imagine they'll be, if you can't get there for those times or whatever, they will have it posted somewhere where you can, rewatch it or whatever.
Yeah.
Hopefully on D23 or whatever. But that's really cool.
That is cool. Did they have a time for the Eye to Eye sing along?
They didn't say that. I don't know if it's just going to be kind of put it out there and then you
do it at your leisure.
Yeah, whenever you want to sing along to Eye to Eye.
Over and over
when
and
don't
over.
You want to sing along to Eye to Eye? So that's pretty cool. So still some, and you should just go on Disney Plus. If you can't watch this stuff, just go on Disney Plus and watch a Goofy movie. It's so good.
It is.
Just totally enjoy it. It's such a great movie, and maybe we'll talk a little more about it in an upcoming episode. But we love a Goofy movie. It's one of our favorite films, and I think it's a great week to celebrate it.
Definitely. And we were so lucky on the cruise. We got to actually meet Goofy and Max together. They danced Eye to Eye with the Eye to Eye song. On
a very rocky day for that. I was amazed they were able to dance that dance on this with the ship kind of shifting back and forth. It was kind of funny, but really cool.
They definitely have the moves.
They have the moves, no question about it. So that's it for our Disney stories of the week. However, we never leave you without giving you some sort of tip that might help you on your next vacation, whether it be to Walt Disney World, the Disneyland Resort, Run Disney, a Disney cruise like we were just talking about. And we always start with Michelle, one, because she's the hardest worker and she puts so much effort into these tips, but also it shows because they are the very best tips. So let's get right to it. Here is Michelle's tip of the week.
I have to laugh hysterically right now because I did have a tip planned, and I usually either put it on my phone or, send myself an email or whatever, or some kind of reminder. And I didn't do it. And it has slipped my mind completely.
Well, you've got a lot on your plate right now. It's understandable.
Working kind of long hours lately. But anyhow, I am going to recycle and refurbish because we're it's important to recycle, right? It's what's good. It's what's right. So I am recycling one. I apologize for those of you looking for a new one today. It may be new to you if you hadn't heard this one before, but it's really about how to make your next Disney trip a little bit more special, or a lot more special, or maybe you might be going to celebrate some special event and you want to, really top it off with something amazing. And that is by being able to order a gift basket through Disney Floral and Gifts. And you can do it all online. It's an amazing array of items that they have, and that you can have delivered either to one of your resorts, to many of the restaurants there. You can pick the day, a time range. It's just so fabulous. We've done it a couple times. And what's super about it, one is the convenience because you can do it online, but also the fact that, you can either take something that they already have. They have like a variety of gift baskets and just select one of those, or you can create your own from the bottom up, by picking, a gift basket itself or some kind of vessel, and then all the things you want to add on into it, and really make it customized to what you want to do, if you really want to do that. And it really is so easy and so fun. It's not obviously cheap, but it's not as pricey as you would think. And if you really, like I said, if you're having a real special occasion or some other reason that you really want to do a little splurge and either do it for yourself or do it for somebody else that's in your party. But I would, if you get a chance to do it, I'd really recommend it. You can find something really special for as low as $30 on up, and they really do a great job of making it very special looking, beautiful. And in fact, you can even do a gift basket for your pet. And since some of the resorts are, do allow dogs, you can possibly do something for Fido.
Pluto.
Or Pluto.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. It is a great tip because, why not add a little extra magic to your trip, to some of your family members that are coming with you, like especially if they're coming with you for the first time. You've been to Walt Disney World, Resort, whatever, and this is their first experience there. Why not add a little magic to that? Maybe they're celebrating a birthday, celebrating an anniversary, whatever the case may be. Or even if you're not going, but they're going, and you can send them something special to surprise them when they arrive, just some really cool stuff, and it's a great way to just like you said, add a little extra Disney magic to any vacation.
That's right.
Very nice, great tip. Even recycled as it was, it is a great tip. My tip, I think, is a little recycled as well, but it comes from a question who came from. It was our guest earlier today, Jonathon Cotton sent a question to us, and obviously, as I said, we recorded that interview a couple days ago, and he I think was listening back to one of our earlier episodes and wanted to know that he said, we've heard you talk about resort hopping on a few of the episodes, and we're curious if that means staying at multiple hotels while you're there, or if that means going around and checking out various places. Thank you, Jonathon, for one, being on the show today, but also for your question. Mostly when we're talking about it, hotel hopping means kind of going from, like, taking a day and going and checking out hotels on one day, going from one hotel to another hotel to another hotel. However, it can also mean going during your stay, doing different hotels during your stay. And we have done both of those things.
I know. When you said that question, I was going to say yes. Yeah. The answer to that, yes and yes.
Our most recent trip, we stayed at Bay Lake Towers, and then we went to the Riviera, and then we went back to Bay Lake Towers, all within, 9-10 days, whatever that was. So, but most of the time when we're talking about that, it's just taking a day and going out and enjoying the Walt Disney World Resort and their many hotels and resorts for what all that makes them special and how cool they are and everything. They're all so different, but they're so well themed. It's really interesting to go around and check them out. You can find all sorts of new restaurants that you haven't tried before, new lounges that you maybe haven't visited. There's all sorts sorts of different activities that take place at the various different resorts. For one thing, just right off the bat, if you want to go to the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and maybe you're going there to get some of their bread service or whatever, you can also go down and walk out and check out the animals, because they do have a little area out there, an observation area where you can kind of walk out. You don't need to be staying there. You can walk out and see when the giraffes come by, or the zebras, or whatever it may be. It's also nice for just a restful day. If you're going park, most every day, somewhere in between there, we talk about it all the time. It's good to take a break from it, just to, have a day to relax, maybe sit by the pool or whatever the case may be. But, resort hopping is an excellent way to have a nice kind of chill day and still get that Disney feel from it without using that ticket, because you don't need to, that's, if you're buying tickets, maybe that's one day you don't need to purchase a ticket for. And I would say it's definitely a must-do when you get to the holiday season, when it's the Christmas and holiday season, because they all have their, well, not all of them, but many of them have their special Christmas tree. They have gingerbread houses, and they're all lit up and decorated, and it's just really, really wonderful to go from place to place and check them all out while you're there.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, like when you're saying the holiday season, they all have different, even just their color schemes vary depending on the theme of that resort. So you're not seeing the same, red, green, maybe gold. You're seeing different colors depending on that resort's color scheme and theming. But you're right. It is fun just to go spend a day trying different things at different resorts. And just, I think if you're going to compare it to something in experience, it's kind of like going through the different countries at Epcot, where you get to try different foods or different types of, drinks or ambiance. But this, like you said, it's a more relaxed setting because you're going and you're staying a little bit longer and really sitting and being, in the midst and very immersed into, their theming for that resort. And like you said, they're all different. They're all unique and very special. And that it is a fun way to spend the day.
Yeah. So if I would recommend it for anybody who's staying at least a week, if you're going like 4 days, you're probably going to want to do park. But if you're staying there around a week or so, it's good to break that up a little bit with a day kind of away from the parks if you can do it. Or maybe you're going to a late night ticketed event where you don't want to use a ticket during the day and you're paying for a ticketed event at night. You can spend much of the day just kind of going and checking out the resorts as well. So as far as the other way to resort hop that we were discussing, I find that is a great way to use either whether you're paying with cash or money, for your resort, or whether you're using, say, Disney Vacation Club points. Obviously, different resorts cost a different amount, right? And the same with points. So sometimes, you don't want to stay that Friday, Saturday at the high level resort,
right?
So you might want to go to maybe a moderate or something along those lines. And then during the weekdays, the Sunday through Thursday, then you can go to some of the more deluxe resorts or whatever, depending on what your place scale is. So yeah, you may want to, during a week stay or whatever, do a resort hop in that regard, just to save yourself a little money or a little Disney Vacation Club points.
No, that is true. And that's a really good point. One of a tip on your tip with that, and this is just a thought from what we've experienced. We tend to like to move upward in the scale. So we may want to even start, like, let's say we're arriving either on a Friday night or for a Saturday or something like that, start at a value resort, and those are there's a lot of great things with the value resorts. We're going to do some episodes on the different levels of the resorts, and we love some of the features that you only really get to appreciate through a value resort. But we like to, maybe even start at a value resort and then move up, and whether it's progressive up or depending on how many moves we're going to make, or directly, like you say, to a deluxe. We have found that when you go from more of a deluxe down to the value, it's still fun, but you tend to notice it a little bit more and a little differently. So that's just a thought. Obviously it may not affect everybody the same way, but was how we've experienced
Right.
it.
Obviously, it depends on your vacation schedule if you can work it out that way, But, obviously, like I said, Fridays and Saturdays usually tend to cost more or take more points if it's Disney Vacation Club. So if you can work it out, I would suggest trying to move up rather than move down because, you'll notice the differences. I mean, the value resorts are great, for what they are.
Right.
I mean, they're still clean, wonderful places to stay. We stayed at All-Star Movies right after they refurbished it. It was about a little over a year and 3 months, 4 months ago, and really enjoyed our stay there.
Yeah,
And we'd totally
so
go
fun.
stay there again.
Right.
Definitely. So that's it for this week. Next week, we are going to bring on another guest, as we mentioned earlier for you. And this time, we are very excited to bring on the crew from the Disney Discussions podcast. Yes, Tony the Disney Dad and his sons, Sparrow and Stitch. They're going to join us for another fun little game, this time involving Walt Disney World.
Right. And, it's been fun having the opportunity to interact with some other folks, but Tony and his boys are so much fun. You're going to really enjoy this game that we're going to play. And, you may come up with your own version of this game, but I think I never laughed so hard as doing that episode. So
I find, Tony is, right around, I think he's a little younger than us, but around our age. And obviously the boys, are different ages. So it's interesting to hear the different viewpoints by different ages. So I think you'll all have a lot of fun with this. And like Michelle said, you can play along too and send us your information on that. So just like you could play along today, we'd love to know what your results were on your Disneyland Never Have I Ever.
Right. Let us know what level you came at. And if you ended up being in the level of you're definitely in need of a Disneyland trip and ever want some tips or advice, reach out to us because we always love doing that.
Yeah, and we'd love to, if we can possibly work it out schedule-wise, come up and connect with you whenever you're visiting here in Southern California, visiting the Disneyland Resort.
Right.
So we will try to make that happen if we possibly can. So we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventurespodcast.com. And while you're there, why don't you just go ahead and sign up for the newsletter?
You will not regret it.
Yeah, it's funky.
It's funky. It's fun.
It's fun and funky.
You put the fun in funk, honey.
I think I put the funk in fun.
Okay.
But funk, I don't mean like funk, like, uptown funk. It's more like, whew, funky.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Way to sell it, honey.
I notice you're
way to sell
sitting
it.
a little ways away from me today. Anyway.
Social distancing.
That's right. You can also, speaking of social, you can follow us on social media on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. And if you ever have any questions, if you want to send us your results from your Never Have I Ever, whatever the case may be, you can always email us at HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
And the other thing that we really love is if you can either take time to give us a rating or even better, a review. And best of all is tell a friend about our podcast.
Yes, that's the easiest way for you to let anybody know about any podcast that you love. Just tell a friend about them. If you have more time, a rating. If you have even more time, a nice review. That helps many podcasts in so many ways, including our own. So that's it. Thank you for listening to the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.
Bye.
It's a little game of Never Would I Ever, or Never Have I Ever, excuse me. Yes. Thank you for listening to the Hyperion Take 3.